you have been conditioned to think that your imagination is irrelevant and that what we call reality with our senses is the ultimate truth about everything. But is it that really the case? Because if that's so, why someone like Einstein would say that imagination is everything? It is the preview of what's going to happen to you. Think about that. That sounds like the law of attraction, or sounds Einstein. And when he was a kid, he imagined he was riding a beam of light. He was imagining that. Imagine a kid that comes and tells you, I've been imagining that. What would it feel like to ride a beam of light? You would say, okay, it's that imagination. Well, Einstein accredits to that impulse, to that imagination, to have discovered the theory of relativity, which is the factual science for which we are actually talking, something like internet or GPS in your car, or many things in your life that have a very substantial real impact are based on a little kid dreaming of riding a beam of light. So he had another great quote in reference to what we're discussing here, which is, knowledge is limited, but imagination encircles the whole world. I don't know if you get what he means, but basically he's saying that all these scientific studies, everybody's trying religiously to prove, oh, this is true because there are all these scientific studies that prove that this is truth, and blah, blah, blah. He was saying all that is limited. There's going to come another theory. There's going to come another study, which is going to change the perspective of what that means and what it is really. What are the laws that really are working in the depths of that? There's always going to come something new. And I haven't found real scientists that wouldn't have stated that there's nothing really like the truth in science, because you can peel and there's always comes more. So Einstein was making a very profound point, not just for science, but for you and me and everyone who's living. We're not scientists. I'm assuming you're not a scientist. So for regular people, a statement like this can be very liberating if you understand what he was meant. You don't need to go there. You can see someone who is deep into science, one of the brightest minds in science from human history, was telling you, was saying out loud that what you think you know, what your mind is processing, that information, that knowing, it is limited. And yet you have something deeper than that he's calling imagination, which I think is a great word for it. Says that is not limited by it. That is actually what encircles the whole world. So if the world is there, your world of knowledge, your little world of understanding what's what and what is the right thing, and what are your political opinions, and what are all that, it is your knowledge, what you think you know. Well, he's saying all around that is imagination. And your imagination can make you free just because of that. So let's talk about that a little deeper. How can imagination make you freer? Well, imagination is the language of your unconscious mind. You may be related to this idea, or you have certainly heard about this idea before, and basically saying that we think we're doing all this stuff in our lives, but we're actually profoundly conditioned by profound activities in your mind that we call the unconscious mind. We are unconscious to them. We are not aware of them. And these shadows, this invisible part of our mind, is conditioning everything we do. So this whole idea, I'm going to quit smoking, I'm going to work harder, all that is conditioned by profound ideas in your mind. So we think we are free to do what we want, and we think we are choosing everything we do. But actually, in marketing, many things prove that that's actually not the case, that we are more predictable than we think we are. And that is because we have this conditioning in our unconscious mind. So rather than trying to stop our behavior as we've been told as kids, don't do bad things, which is great. Do good things, why not? But the problem with that is that if inside of you, your thoughts are still misaligned, it doesn't matter. Well, it always matters that your actions are good, but they are not changing anything really in the end. I mean, it's good for education and living together in this world. But talking about personal transformation, just the fact that you do good things, it's not necessarily transformative. Please, by any means, again, do good things. But let's say you're trying to quit, you smoke, or you eat too much, or you do this thing, or you should go to the gym. What I'm saying is that instead of trying to change your behavior, what you really have to do is to understand what is your conditioning that is creating this collapse. Because one way you want to be healthy, or you want to do things better, but there's something in you that gets on the way. And it's not the fact that you don't do it. You can try as hard as you want to go to the gym. But if there is no a deep alignment with that in the depth of your mind, it just won't happen. You will spend all your life paying for a gym you never go and try to change this little thing about yourself. So it can be very powerful to understand your unconscious mind. And you'll say, okay, fine, unconscious. And when you hear Carl Jung or Freud or talking about the unconscious mind, it sounds to be something that's unattainable. That sounds like so deep, so profound, and you're supposed not to know it. So it makes you feel even more frustrated because you don't know what to do with it. Well, your unconscious mind is working basically in the range of emotions and imagery. So what I'm suggesting you to be free is that you start paying attention to your emotions, your reactivity to the world, and also the imagery in your mind, because your mind is structurally thinking in a way that it's first this unconscious patterns, and it collides and it creates all these little things that emerge in thoughts and behavior. And we are normally on the surface that what we feel trapped, that we feel that you can't change your life. You end up being everything more or less the same. But that's not freedom. And again, I'm not suggesting you to go and visualize the future difference. So you will be there and you will be a better person. You will be rich and you will be beautiful and everybody will love you. I'm not going there. I'm not saying do that. That's a different thing. And if by any chance you do that practice and it feels good to you, please go on and do it as far as it feels good. But what I'm saying is that is still not freedom. You're still conditioned. So how does it look? How does the process of being free from your own conditioning looks like? Well, you have to start not worrying so much about these superficial thoughts of changing your beliefs and changing this all this word related part of your mind, and go deeper, sink deeper where your emotions are. How are you feeling now? And many people will say, I don't know, with this thing with imagination, I'm not even a creative person. I close my eyes and I don't see anything. What are you talking about? Well, you just train yourself not to do that. Like we train ourselves not to pay attention to our dreams. And by the same fact that people who are interested in their own dreams and start thinking about the dreams, start writing about the dreams, start just paying more attention to that part of the life, they start becoming more aware of their own dreams. In the same way, you can become aware of your conditioning and your unconscious patterns by getting more interested. So you see, I'm specifically talking about the bandwidth of your mind. Let's bypass the whole thing of the mental chat, the restless mind, the overthinking. All that comes for your deep conditioning. So there is one single, let's call it an image, in the depth of your mind that is creating all this chaos. It's not about cutting the branches. You need to go down deep in there and face and become aware of that image that is impressed in your mind. How you do that? Well, this is obviously that's like deep meditation talk. So just for making it simple for a YouTube video addressed to everyone, it looks like when you're falling asleep, you probably notice sometime in your life, you've been going for a nap or going to bed and you felt that you were thinking about something, and suddenly your thoughts, they start becoming kind of blurry and relaxed and decontextualize. At some point, something happens, and then some sort of shapes start coming. It's called hypnagogic imagery. And it's some sort of like blurry, changing images that are very unstable. But I'm pretty sure you, at least a few times in your life, you stumble across that. Maybe you were just living in an uncomfortable place, or you were too tired, and suddenly you start just seeing these kind of things. Your mind is actually thinking underneath your regular thoughts, is thinking with images. So when you relax your mind and your body, and it goes like your brain wave starts slowing down, then all these sort of like ambiguous images, fast changing, abstract images start just popping up. I would say, go there, stay there. And this is the ultimate technique from my point of view for lucid dreaming. I talk about this in other lucid dreaming videos that I made. Basically, this, you may think that this is not possible, but I'm telling you, it is possible. As I'm actually saying right now, it is possible not only to trace as your mind disengages and goes to the most basic mode, and then you go into dreams, you can still remain aware, but you need to go for that. Otherwise, your mind is trained to be distracted and to let you lose consciousness, and you fall asleep. So fall into meditation, let your mind and your body just sink into the most spontaneous being, just resting, and let your mind undo itself. Let all your thoughts start just being scattered and not constrained by your intention or your attention, your concentration. You just let them go, and they just start blurring and just moving out of you're not joining the thoughts. They start like just scattering all over the place. Like when you fall asleep, you do this every night. You probably don't notice. So just pay attention to that. And if you relax and pay attention to that, you're going to start noticing these subtle images. And this gets to the point that for someone who practices a lot over time, you can get to feel that imagery, these deeper layers of your mind on a daily basis, every time, always. So your capacity to, in every situation, to, instead of fighting with your life, to rest in the depths of your awareness, creates a, how do you say it? An advantage. Because now you're not constrained by this doing, trying hard, changing. Suddenly you are just settling deeper. And here's the most fascinating thing of all. That's why I'm not saying imagine a dream-like future so you can experience that. Here's the thing, no. That's not even the case for when you're really into freedom. When you're really for being free, the trap is that we think we are a body and a mind. So when you don't want to change your mind, the moment you change your mind is because you think you are your mind. Here's the thing, as you probably know, are you really changing it? It looks like, I know, sometimes, but mostly not. Mostly, as hard as you try to change your beliefs and all that, the only healing process that happens is that you let go of deep fears, like the fear of death, like fear of anything. They are just rooted in the grounding of your mind, and they're conditioning all your brain activity, all your life. Everything you see is conditioned by that. You know what the reticular activating system is? It's a part of your brain that, for example, when you say, I'm going to buy a red car or a car from this brand, you say, okay, I'm going to do that. You've been looking into it, and suddenly you go to the street. And all through your life, you just keep on seeing these cars. And you say, where they were before. Suddenly everybody has that car. Meaning that even the most scientific way, you actually see what you are conditioned to see. And I'm not saying condition yourself differently so you can see a more positive world. No, I'm saying, no, be free. Be free from the world. Be free from your body. Be free from your mind. And suddenly you will realize that that has been always the case. You have been always free. That you have nothing to fear. That it all was, your suffering was just a nightmare. And you can wake up. How do you wake up? You become aware. Start noticing the dream. Most importantly, rather than the things in the dream and getting involved in the dream with your life, fixing yourself, fixing your mind. No, start observing your mind. If you can, it may require some practice. But at some point, you will be able to consistently observe your mind active and feel everything. In that way, you will become free of it. And your mind can still active, but you are not it. You're not your body. You're not your mind. You're just free. And that, my friend, is all you're dreaming of. Your mind is trying to create it as an experience in the world, but you will never get it. This sounds a little disappointing, but I'm trying to talk about the quickest path to freedom. And the other also, the relative also work, but they take time. Why not? Why not? If you're free already, if you have that potential, why not try to tap into it? And again, this may take you practice. You're not used to observe your mind, but observe not only your thoughts, observe these deeper layers of profound emotions and images in your mind, your imagination. Tap into your imagination. And from there, it may happen like in the case of Einstein, that you become creative. You will certainly, at some point, certainly will feel the impulse of following your imagination, and you may do something really beautiful in this world. But this is not what I'm talking about. This is, again, we're talking about this world. I'm talking about freedom. And freedom is what you are. And freedom is all that you want. So stop looking for the world. Stop looking for your mind for solutions. Just observe. And the moment that you see you are detached from it, you are it too. Your mind is too. You too. I'm not saying disregard your mind and the world as non-existent. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just see. See these deep layers of your mind. See your conditioning. And just by that, just because you understand the mechanics, you see the mechanics, then you're able to not suffer. You cannot suffer in your life. You don't have to suffer. It's a choice we make unconsciously. So make it consciously. Choose freedom. Choose peace in every moment. Relax your mind and see its mechanics, how it works. If you want to be free of it, you need to understand it. Just observe it. Don't think about your mind. That's your mind thinking about itself. Don't try to change your mind either. It's also your mind trying to change itself. Just observe, relax into pure being. And something that we call, or at least my mind calls it, peace and love, will fleet your experience because it is the grounding of your nature. But you cannot see that if your mind is conditioned and your attention is trapped inside of your mind. So I hope you find this worth investigate on your side and that you give it a try and let me know what happens. Thank you for watching. I hope you got value from this video. I hope you did. And I really mean every word I say. I'm not here just to have a controversial video and become an influencer on YouTube or something like that. I don't care about that. I care about real change, lasting real change in people. That's what I'm here for. So I take the responsibility of saying all these big words of lasting happiness and peace and nirvana and non-duality. Call it whatever you want. So I take the responsibility of pushing people in that direction, because the truth is that most people would experience with generic teachings like books or videos like this, they will experience a certain amount of a taste of it, but you just go back into the old patterns, because there are things, there are shadows in our life, things we don't notice that bring us back to certain patterns at work, relationships, money, health, your past, your future. There's certain specifics about yourself. So these teachings can be way more effective if they are done one-on-one. And that traditionally, when someone would be maybe in the position like yourself to realize this is the most important thing that you can do in your life, because there is no life that can be lived fully without that state of peace, that state of understanding. Nothing you could do would make any sense. When people would realize that, they would just reach out to a teacher. They would just move out of their village and they will look for someone who could teach them, someone who seemed to have to realize that, and they are living from there, and they will ask for help. Well, I've been meditating for more than 30 years. I have more than 15,000 hours of actually sitting to meditate. I work with world-class teachers one-on-one, and I want to extend this offering to you. So if you're ready to get real, what I'm offering you as a gesture of goodwill is a free call between you and me, no commitment. You just explain me what your case is, and I will try to give you something of value right away. And we will see if we are a match, and we may take a coaching together or not. That's okay. It doesn't matter to me. The important thing is I reach out and I'm taking responsibility to actually help you. I care more about helping one person than reaching out 1 million people on YouTube. So if you feel that that is you, that you're ready to get real and integrate non-duality, nirvana, heaven, lasting love, excitement, and peace in your life for real, if you know that's a real possibility for you and you're ready, then just go to my website, ricardcoach.com, and send me a message. Hey, I'm here. I think I'm ready. And we will have this free, no commitment introductory call where you explain me what is your situation. Now, hopefully we'll give you already something of value, and we'll check if there is need or if there is value in keep on working together, if we are a match. So just go for it. Don't think about it. I don't buy it. And yeah, you get what I mean, right? From heart to heart. I've been there. And I want you to really fully live what you know you can live. That what you deserve, what you can be experiencing in every moment. I hope you're ready. I hope you recognize that, and by this mean or any mean, take whatever action or non-action you need to free yourself.